Hey there, Zach again. Wanted to keep talking a little bit about what I was exploring in my last video. In the last video, we talked about how the military has such complete control over the information that you receive about the war, and basically about anything else that has anything to do with the military. So, what are things like if you're on the other side of the equation? If rather than being with the military, let's say if you're a peace activist. Well, we all know that one of the hallmarks of being a peace activist is to get yourself arrested. And, I think this is just kind of overall indicative of like the difference in our society between the way, people who are proponents of war and people who are opposed to war are treated. I mean, if you speak out in favor of war, you can pretty much do that anytime you want. Sure, there are lots of conventions around the country where people talk out about all the wonderful new technology we have for war, and not a whole lot, gets done about it. But if you want to be a war protester, you might be smart to kind of set yourself up for, having your life changed in some rather significant ways. Just recently reading up on the case of Max Obozuski. He's a guy who's pretty much a full-time, peace activist down in the Maryland area. And recently he found out, through various connections, that he had been the target of an ongoing investigation by the Maryland State Police Department. And that they had not only conducted surveillance on him, but they had also had members of the police department show up at his meetings for his group, and so they had a mole in his organization. Interestingly, one of the results of this is, even though they never got any kind of information on him saying that he was doing anything remotely wrong at any point, still they managed through their influence to get him put on the terrorist watch list. And this is a perfect example of why the terrorist watch list has ballooned to 1 million people. I mean, I wonder if I'm on it. I think I'd almost be more embarrassed to not be on it at this point. Kind of a badge of shame that you haven't made the terrorist watch list yet. But I think this is terribly interesting, really, that you have a person who's pretty much their only crime is that they have been vigorous and devoted to the idea of trying to stop U.S. wars. So apparently this is all it takes anymore to get on the bad side of the U.S. government and to get yourself investigated and to have yourself put on a terrorist watch list. So what do you think? What do you think these are good priorities for our country to have? I mean, do you think it's a good idea that, if you are, that the military is allowed to kind of control every single aspect? And it seems like it even extends further than that, because, the government is the one that controls the military. And the government also is like now searching to investigate and marginalize these peace groups. Like you need to do more to target, peace in this country. The forces of war aren't winning on every single front. No. The few small attempts that are being made to try to, get some balance, to represent all the people in this country, who believe that, we shouldn't be engaging in all these wars. I mean, what are the totals now? 70% of Americans think Iraq is a bad idea. And remember that, people are coming to these decisions in an almost, total absence of anything other than doctored information. So just imagine for an instant, for a moment, that people are allowed, not only allowed, but they are treated to real, honest information about Iraq and about Afghanistan. They're told what we're up to, how many people are died, how we conduct operations, and what the results of those operations are. I think you'd find some really interesting discussions going on. But we're not going to have those discussions. Why? Because, like I said in the previous video, the military gets to control every aspect of what you see. And I mean, think about it in these terms. I mean, most people who get a story about how their son or daughter died in Iraq, what do you think their response is going to be? Do you think they're going to want to go through the pain that, Matt Tillman's family went through, or Jessica Lynch's family went through, or any of them? Most people don't want to go through that. They'll accept whatever the military gives them as a reason, because chances are it's better than what actually happened. I mean, in a certain respect, the people who go after the real story are gluttons for punishment, because they could have taken the easy way out. They could have taken a way where, you have the easy comfort of heroism. And instead, they trade that in, and they say, no, I'm going to take the hard path. I'm going to actually fight to get the information about what really happened, knowing that I have to give up the heroic dream, knowing that I have to fight the government that has all the cards, knowing that I'm going to be marginalized and that people are going to question my motives. I think that's some really amazing stuff. I think if there's something, to be proud of in America, it's people like that who actually care so much about the truth that they'll give up a comfortable fiction to actually pursue it. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to have that out there, because since I saw that other story this week as well, meaning about Max Oberzeski, and it was other people too. I mean, there was a very noted, sports writer who also is, a prominent supporter of, anti-death penalty groups. And he was also targeted by the same investigation, the same state police investigation. So I wanted to do this video both as a shout out to those people who are real Americans, who are fighting for the truth, and who care about the direction that our country is taking, and also to kind of show those distinctions so that it becomes really clear about how we're trying to control people's perceptions of war, on both sides of the equation. Both by controlling, what's coming out of the war in terms of, figures of casualties, how our operations really are, what are the real consequences of the war. But also, there's another prong on the other side, working to kneecap the anti-war movement. And once again, I urge everyone to remember how the three primary anti-war candidates got drummed out early, very early in the process, despite the fact that there was a lot of interest countrywide in all of their candidacies. Gravel, Kucinich, and Paul. Where did they go? They went where the war party wanted them to go. They went away.